Summer Explosion 2014. Learn more right after this.
Packers. Viking. Packers. Viking.
Viking.
Red state. Blue state. Vegan.
Carnivore.
We come from different places.
Uptown.
Downtown.
Optimist.
We come to different conclusions.
Half empty.
Half full.
But when we live united, we create real, lasting change in the building blocks of life. The education, income, and health of our communities,
Live.
our families,
United.
even the person next to us.
Live united.
Real change won't happen without you. So give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Sign up at liveunited.org.
Welcome to Community Watch. I'm Greg Shropshire. Dr. Hershey today is actually on location. We got him out doing some special work, so he'll join us next week. But today we're going to talk about Summer Explosion. It's a wonderful camp, a camp that's been held at Lovejoy Baptist Church. And today we'll have several guests with us, and we'll talk about Summer Explosion, what you can do to find out more about it, and how you can get involved. So stay tuned. We'll be right back right after this.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to Community Watch, and today I'm joined with Miss Carla Freeman, the great Reverend Carrie Ingram. I just lost, I'm getting old. And we're talking about Summer Explosion, and I know this have to be one of the prides of Lovejoy, because this is a camp that really serves the community and it serves a need, and I'm not sure that everyone really knows about Summer Explosion outside of the community that serve. I don't know if people, because I've learned over the years that we have a lot of great programs in Rome, but everybody is not necessarily aware of them. So either one of you, what is Summer Explosion?
Well, Summer Explosion is a day camp. It is mostly funded by Bright from the Start, which is a summer feeding program. What they do is they allow us to feed as many children as we can in as many locations as we can. And so Lovejoy Community Service Incorporated, which is our nonprofit part of our Lovejoy Baptist Church, we decided to have a summer camp that would allow children to come to our Life Center and eat 2 nutritious meals a day, while also engaging in summer activities, recreation, tutoring. We have lots of volunteers, and we also have just that environment that nurtures the community. We have different classrooms. We have it set up so we can actually accept children from 4 years old who are school age all the way to 18-year-olds. We have lots of community workers that come out and participate to sort of help the children to bridge that gap between the summer months.
You know, which is, well, let me, before I go, Rev, as the leader of the pack, I know it's a lot of work, because when you go to camps, you see camps, we see what you see, but you don't see the behind the scenes. How is it that Lovejoy has been able year after year to make this? Because even though it requires funding, it requires commitment, how have you been able to maintain such a commitment to this program from your family?
Well, I think it goes back to the origin of it, and I would be remiss in talking about the origin of it if I didn't call the names of people like Miss Esther Vaughn, my wife, Miss Judy Ingram, Miss Laney Stevenson, people who had the expertise as to, number one, how to get children and keep children there and involved, how to discipline them without, run them off. I have a way of disciplining them, but I might say, hey, you do it again, you ain't coming back, but they have a way of saying, stop this, let's go do this, So I think the origin of it, is a factor. More than a decade ago, these ladies took it upon themselves to try to do something to get the kids off the streets, and that to me has been the blessing of it, because parents are looking for ways of getting their kids into something positive during the summertime, and they do have options, but let's face it, the Christian atmosphere has a little bit something to offer that other places may not have. We do collaborate to some degree with the Boys and Girls Club. When they leave us at 12 noon, we try to get them up there. But I like to think that we do have that little special something that we offer as a Christian organization that perhaps the Boys and Girls Club, because of who they are, could not offer or do not offer.
You know, you touched on the point, and I'm gonna go there because I had another question, but I'm gonna go there because I think what you said is so crucial, is that a lot of times when we talk about some of the problems in our communities today, and then I think if with two parents working, a lot of kids are in institutions. You can call them what you want to call them, but they're in some type of institution where they are surrounded by multiple other kids, and you don't know who really is influencing what your child believes. Back in the day, so to speak, you may have stayed with somebody in your family, your grandmother, somebody that had the same kind of belief system. And I really believe the church do have a role that, when you have these children, it's a camp at your church. Now you have an influence on them that adds a different dimension that they may not get it at a program like the 100. You can add a different component, and I think that component has been left out, that spiritual component, in so many of our interaction with children, that we sometimes wonder what's wrong with them. Because I always tell teachers, if you have a problem with a child, I say, find out first, do they go to church? I say, if you find out they go to church, I guarantee you they don't act like that at church. Because church I grew up in had a culture. And you learned very young what church culture was and how to behave. I said, so if they go to church and they're acting properly, and then they're acting out in school, then it's not the kid knows the difference between church culture and the school culture. You have to create a culture like church where they know and they expect to follow the rules. But I think that it's so crucial that that spiritual component is left out of so much of what kids do.
I think one of the biggest problems with kids or children today is that children are rearing themselves. And that to me is dangerous, because they come up with their own set of rules and regulations, guidelines along that line. Now, when we speak in terms of what we offer at the church, and because we are partly state funded, we have to be real careful in how we bring about the spiritual aspect of it. But there are ways you can do that without, quote, trying to convert somebody to religion, and I think that is love, and I think that's what people like Sister Carla Nation Freeman, with her expertise as a teacher and as one who is innovative in ideas as to how to create different projects and the reward that they get from doing that. Everybody loves a pat on the back. Everybody loves to be appreciated. Everybody loves to feel like you count, you made a difference. And she has a staff, and I'm just glad to be a part of it, that is excellent at doing that. And from that, they tend to want to come to church. So then when they get to church on Sunday, now we can be more spiritual than we would be through the week.
And Carla, I have had the pleasure of working with the camp, and it's exciting. But like with any other camp, or dealing with children, it's also, it can be testing. But the fact that y'all have been doing it year after year, I think speaks to the quality of the people that y'all have. So in your role with dealing with this program, what are some of the needs, though, that you see? Because we know about the summer slide, but what are some of the needs that you see that our children may have that people may not notice, or just in everyday dealings with them outside of the school setting?
Okay. Well, I think some of the most important things that we can do is listen to the things that they need. I know sometimes you feel like when a child is a certain age, They don't really have any insight on what they really need, and they don't have any experience in knowing what they need, and we think we're parents and we're adults and we know best. But sometimes if we just listen to what the child actually needs, we can actually come up with different activities, different mentors that can help that child with whatever they need. We have 4-year-olds, and a lot of the 4-year-olds, some of the volunteers would say, I don't know how you do it, Ms. Freeman. I don't know how they do what you say, and they'll listen to you because I listen to them. And when you're 4 years old, adults are thinking, what can a 4-year-old know about what they need? But they know. And so if you listen and you cater the environment, or you cater the activities, the things that they need, the things that they normally don't get at home, or they may not get in that school environment, because it is an environment where you have to think about standards and think about testing and think about curriculums and things like that. You don't get to touch on the morals and the values and things the children need emotionally or socially that they may not get at school or they may not get at home. So those are the things that we focus on, and then we sort of cater the activities according to that.
Now, I have to admit, when I was there, I focused. My thing was science. That's not my area, by the way. Science is not my area, but I have learned, when you have hands-on, interactive, interesting programs, kids want to know. It's just part of it's part of being a child. And so I was very pleased that some groups, when you work with, they can get a little rowdy, and you have to be but when you work with a group, especially like a church group, it's almost like there's a certain level which, wait a minute now, we're in the house of the Lord. Now, hold on, okay, what we doing now, and it worked, and it would kind of, wait a minute now, we at church, so, but I really did it, and I felt like that because sometimes I see kids going to camps, and the camps are really for babysitting. They to maintain kids while parents are at work, that we understand that. But I did really have the feeling that so many of those kids was taking a lot from that camp. And I can't say I feel that way all the time when I participate in some camps, that, the kids are here, but are they really taking something from here? And so I really felt that, and so it felt great to actually participate. And actually, I think I ended up doing more than I had planned because it was so rewarding to me as well.
Well, one of the things that I was very happy about, and this happened 2 years ago. We did it 2 years in a row. A student from Shorter College, he came to volunteer to this one particular class that I was teaching called Creative Thinking. And one of the things that he brought to the class, and I had no idea, it never dawned on me that it was important, but he brought the idea of money management. And he bought a game that taught them how, in essence, to manage money. Because one thing they don't teach at school, believe it or not, is managing money. And he made it clear, it doesn't matter what scale you're on, whether it's 10 cents or $10 or $100 or 10,000 or $1 million, if you don't manage it, it's not going to be there. You got to know how to invest it. And they loved it. They loved the idea of saving some money, and when I get to this point, I'm going to invest this money. And the game that they played really taught that. So again, it goes back to innovative ideas, coming up with things that you wouldn't normally do, that and as Chief Carter said, and listen to what's going on in their mind. Because that was one of the things that I think that they had brought up, but I didn't know the answer to it. But this guy came in, and in 2 years he brought a whole new twist to what we were trying to do.
So we're going to take a break pretty soon, but what are the actual dates of the camp?
It starts May the 19th, the day right after school is out that Monday, May the 19th at 8 a.m. and it ends July 31st, the day right before they go back to school. So it's the beginning.
Wait a minute. So this is all summer long.
All summer long.
May the 18th.
May the 19th, which is that Monday.
To July
31st, and school start back August the 1st.
Oh wow! So I mean that's for real.
Yeah.
That's 5 days a week.
5 days a week.
8 a.m.
to 12.
To 12. So I think our 2 weeks be something. I mean,
thank God for volunteers and good staff people.
Yeah, because that is really a lot of commitment, and to motivate yourself to get up and go every day when you don't have to. I really think it takes a lot. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk more about Summer Explosion. We'll give you some contact information, and also we'll provide some ways if you want to volunteer and get involved, who you need to call and what you can do. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Community Watch right after this.
Seven 7,000 high school students drop out every school day. That's a line of desks more than 4 miles long. We can keep students in school. Visit boostup.org and take the first step.
Welcome back to Community Watch. And we're talking about Summer Explosion. Summer Explosion is a summer camp that is held at Lovejoy Baptist Church. And we're joined with us, Miss Carla Nation Freeman and the Reverend Carrie Ingram. And before we went on break, we talked about the camp. You was telling us the dates are May the 19th through July the 31st.
Yes.
So this is all summer long.
Yes.
Now, how many kids typically do you have? Is there a limit do you set?
Well, we set our own limits based on our staff, volunteers. Last year, our goal was 100 to 125. This year, our goal, we want to raise our goal to like 150 because we want to be able to serve more children in our community.
Now, so I guess the hardest part is in manning that, but do y'all need volunteers? I mean, do you need some more? Are you looking for, what do you need for the camp, I guess I should say?
We are looking for businesses and community workers to sort of partner with us so we can offer more activities, more classes, more fun, exciting things for the children to do. And in order for us to have 150 children, we need more volunteers.
So let me create a scenario then. So let's say you're a business out there or a bank or somebody. What about financial donations? Can they make financial donations, or do you just need people?
Oh, we need both.
Okay.
Definitely. I understand right from the start is our primary sponsor, but when you speak in terms of doing things with kids, it costs supplies, paper, pencils. I teach a class that I created called Creative Thinking, and each one of them has a log book that every day they come in, and for whatever questions I ask, they write that. But that costs. I mean, Staples gives us a discount, but it costs.
You still got to pay for it.
So for whatever we're doing with them, whatever the interaction is, generally it's more than just a sit down and talk to you session. It's an on-hands kind of task, pretty much like what you did with them in doing that. And we're grateful that that you didn't charge us for what you brought, because we know that costs as well. So we need volunteers and funds, and the community has been good to us. But I think what we're looking for is more diversity. The firemen, the firemen have been there, the police. 1 year, the Georgia Power, the health department. But we would certainly like to see maybe more people from college campuses, from more institutions downtown, like maybe the newspaper, what that's all about. Something like photography. I mean, as far as whatever people are doing in everyday life, we want our kids to be exposed to it.
You know, Red, when you was talking, what I was thinking about, so let's just take a bank in general. So yes, we would love to have a donation to help with our camp, but we would also love from someone to come and teach a class as well.
Exactly,
So,
yes, sir.
so therefore we can offer kids, and you are so right. One of the things I think is most disheartening about being a teacher for me is that when you talk to young kids at 14, 15, and 16, and they think this is as good as it gets, and they no longer dream. They no longer just, it's like, that hurts. But a lot of times I find the lack of exposure. When you start talking about different jobs and different careers, what is that? What is that? And you're like, really? We assume that they have been exposure. So this is a great opportunity. If no matter what you do, what I say, if you're passionate about it, call, let us figure out a way how they can work it into the camp. And so who do they need to call for? Like if they want to make a donation, they want to volunteer, what is the contact?
Well, our church contact is Ms. Charlene Ramsey, and that number is 706-232-1917. And that's our church secretary. She's there Tuesday through Friday.
So just call Ms. Ramsey, tell her you want to volunteer or tell her you want to make a donation, and she'll make sure that the proper people get the information.
Yes, that would be wonderful.
Now, and let's talk more about the camp. Now I know you was mentioning the money management thing. What are some of the other things, interesting things you've done over the years that you really felt that was like, wow, that was, that you wasn't necessarily expecting, but it just came. Can
I tell about mine?
But that's what you want.
The one program, and I designed this, and I maybe need to patent it, I don't know, but I think it makes a difference. We have a class that I teach called Creative Thinking, and in this particular class, I have two primarily objectives. Number one, I want them to learn how to stand before people and express their ideas. That's the first thing. Not because for whatever you're going to do in life, you've got to have the ability to communicate your ideas. Yes. So that's the first objective. Number two is I want them to learn to be deep thinkers and not just speak off the top of your head, but to give an answer that is from the heart about what life means to you. So I might come in one morning and I've got 20, and I primarily deal with the older kids. I may have a question like, what if you found out that your mom lost her job and your dad is sick? How can you help them to keep the house going with some type of income without breaking the law? Now that means they've got to think about that.
Yes.
They got to write, then they've got to write that up. And once they write that up, then they've got to stand and give that presentation. And it's amazing what kids come up with, how they can make an honest living without breaking the law. From washing cars to cutting grass to babysitting to reading to smaller kids, walking dogs, all kinds of ideas that they come up with. So I enjoy that class. I look forward to that. I call it creative thinking, but I also like the idea. I love to see them stand before the rest of the class and with pride and a sense of confidence express their ideas. And where I need to give them some pointers, I try to. I may say, you need be a little bit louder, be a little bit clearer, but hopefully it's preparing them for classes on down the line in communications.
Rev, when I hear you speak about that, it just resonate with me. Right now, we're in this swing, the pendulum swing, where we're really focused on the 21st century skills in school, the 21st century skills. And part of that is critical thinking. And the scenario in which you describe, I think it's also in the sense that a lot of times we don't just stop and put our kids in situations to force them to think deep like that. What would you do? It's one of those things where I think we can help our kids. This is something parents can do at home.
Exactly.
Come up with a question once a week, a deep question, and think about it. Don't just give me an answer, think about it. And I think it helps them to get it, to become used to thinking deep, critical thinking. It's one of those things that I think we assume sometimes that our kids get it, but but then also I'm smiling because I know at our camp similar in some of the responses you get, and it renews your faith that our kids really are.
That's right.
When you really put them in a situation to give them opportunity, they really are some bright children.
And we have to remember, not like when I was coming up, as I approach my 60th birthday, I'm so happy about that. But when I was coming up, our competition was amongst each other here in America. But now we are a global competition. A lot of our jobs are across the country because they do a better job quicker. And we've got to come to grips with the fact that we have some very intelligent children, but we've got to bring that out of them so that when it's time to be competitive for jobs, we can stay here and do our job.
Oh, yeah. Carla, do you have any moments at camp that just jump out at you?
Well, it's just that kids never cease to amaze me. Just when you think you know everything they're going to say and do, you know, they pop out with something new and something different and something that happened at home or something that they would like to see happen at camp. And they are so innovative and they so know what they want. They know the things that they want in camp. And last year, they had to give me an idea of what they would like to see in the camps to come. And some of the things were they would like to have more creative arts, and they would like to have maybe a foreign language club, and maybe some things where they have options for the teenagers to do that the little children may not be able to do. So this year, one of our goals is to add a Spanish club, and I've actually have two of my Hispanic friends, Nora Guzman Reyes and Leticia Gonzalez, is going to be coming 3 days a week to, if you want to join the Spanish club.
Wow.
And then we want to have, one of our goals is to have a computer lab, and we have a few laptops and a few desktops that people have donated. But one of the things that we would really like to have to bridge that technology gap is a few computers, you know, easy used computers, something used, something new, donated, so we can work with bridging that gap with technology, because that's one of the things that they are really in need of. A reading club. We do the summer reading every summer in conjunction with the library, but to have a club where the older children can get together and read a book, discuss it, watch the movie, really be engaged and really get deep into the things that they really want to know about a book.
You know, one of the things that when I sit here listening to you, as a teacher, I know that part of you still is focused. You know, I know when they go back to school, so yeah, you're gonna be here, but I gotta make sure we have the curriculum in the back of my mind at least.
Exactly.
That I know that we're doing some things that's gonna benefit them or preview for the next year. And I still think one of the best things that at any camp is a reading club. Let's read the book, but then let's discuss the book.
Right.
I mean, I have to admit that one of my professors at Morehouse told me, he said, if you don't argue with the book or argue with people about the book, then just really read the book. And I like it when you read with a group of kids and then actually get them to talk about it. And then you start talking about perspective and why did you see this way? And that's one of those things that doesn't cost a lot of money, but it's very effective.
Right.
Now, so once again, we got to count from May the 18th to July the 31st from 8 a.m. to 12 noon. Is any type of transportation provided, or do they have to provide their own transportation?
Well, they do have to provide their own transportation, so we don't provide that.
Okay, so but they got all this other stuff. They got two meals all summer long.
Exactly.
All right, we're going to take another short break, and we come back. I'll give you that contact information again, so get something ready to write with. But it's the Summer Explosion 2014, right after this.
If you're looking for a new pet that your family will cherish every day, consider adopting from a shelter. Shelters are the best places to find a new pet. That's where you'll discover healthy, loyal, and loving animals, eager to become a part of your family. A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet, so bring home your new buddy today. To find out more, visit theshelterpetproject.org.
Welcome back to Community Watch, and we're talking about Summer Explosion 2014. And once again, if they want to make a donation or they want to volunteer, they need to call Miss Ramsey at what number again, Carla?
706-232-1917.
Just call Miss Ramsey if you want to make a donation or you want to get involved. This is one of those things where I think the community, we all have a role. We'll say we don't have time, we'll say we don't have money, but this is one of those things where the investment will pay off down the road. And so we got to find something to contribute. If you can't come, you can't get no money, find somebody else that can come.
We can't afford not to do this.
Right.
So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week on Community Watch.